Turn that one off.
It glares in the camera, then it looks even worse.
No.
So let's see if we can get us both in a shot like this and go, "Mwah," and then see how that looks. Hey guys, welcome to the channel. We're doing something a little bit different today. Today we are off to Warhammer World for the open day.
Yeah.
I'm here with Martin. We were supposed to be here with Sean as well, but Sean can't get himself out of bed.
Sean's weak.
Sean is weak. So Sean's going to meet us there and we'll hopefully chat to him then. The idea of this series, not even a series, the idea of this video is to follow Martin through today. He is entering Golden Demon. I'm sure most of you probably know if you've watched some of the previous videos, he's entered Golden Demon before and done quite well. Martin's got Golden Demon trophies, a Slayer sword, etc. So he's done alright. He's done this a few times before.
Yeah, it never gets any easier, but yeah, I've done it.
No, so I've seen a few of his trophies, and it was interesting coming in this morning and seeing him as an absolute bag of nerves. Because I expected him to be nice and calm because he's done it loads of times before, but not at all.
Never gets any better. Never.
So Martin's had a project that's been in progress for quite some time now.
Yeah, it's been. I think I started it. It was going to be a diorama. It was about 18 months ago.
Yeah.
And I think I got a bit over ambitious with the planning. I thought, yeah, cool, because I've read this book. It's called Death Watch. If anyone's read it, it's a novel. I don't know who the author is, yeah, basically it goes through the sort of these initiates who get taken off to the watch station and sort of do their Death Watch training. And essentially, it talks about how they've on the watch station they've got these hab worlds.
Yeah.
So like they've got these sort of these firing ranges that. They breed aliens in, so like your crew and your gene stealers and all that sort of stuff. So they breed them in these sort of worlds essentially. So they've got like a jungle world, desert world, all this sort of stuff. So they breed these aliens, and then obviously, as far as they're concerned, that's where they live. That's their home world. But obviously, every now and again, you get these hairy-ass marines come flying through, shooting them and doing all this sort of stuff. So yeah, it's I read it. I was like, that's really really cool. And I wanted to do this big diorama of all these space marines from different chapters doing their training, shooting these crew in a jungle.
Yeah.
Didn't work, and I was a bit too over ambitious. I started building it.
Yeah.
I started doing plastic carding, all this stuff. It was horrendous. So I gave up, and it was sticking rivets onto door frames that finished me off.
Oh, I think I saw you start doing that.
Yeah, I hated it.
Yeah,
I can't stand it.
That did look like a lot of effort.
It was a lot to
So Martin's gone down the route of just submitting a squad as a squad instead, which, to be quite honest, I've seen him last night. We'll get some photos on and hopefully show them around about now-ish or throughout this video. Yeah. And they are very pretty, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, they've come out right. It's the same idea.
You lot are all the same. All the same. Look at these pictures. He says they've come out all right. Yeah, Sean was the same last night. This stuff's rubbish. Well, don't enter it then, Sean. You obviously think it's okay because you're putting it in.
It's all right, but yeah, it follows a similar sort of idea. I've got the Watchmaster guy in the middle.
Yeah.
But I've converted him slightly, so I've taken away his Guardian spear, and he's just got an hourglass.
Yeah, that looks cool.
It's got some purity seals hanging off it. And then the four Marines that were going to be in the diorama are just sort of flanking him. And I've got sort of two running forward and then two sort of a bit further back, so it's sort of like an angle. So it's sort of meant to represent, hopefully it comes across, them sort of all running forward, him sort of saying, right, go. And the whole thing is called Against the Clock. Yeah. So yeah, that's the idea is sort of, there's little signs on the bases and it sort of says B range at Talassa Prime.
If you head on over to Instagram, Martin Waller Figure Painter, I think is his account. Have a look there and check it out because, like I said, I'll try and get images up. But I'm going to get excited going to Warhammer today anyway. It's only the third time I've ever been.
Really?
Anyway, part of this video series, part of this video is to track him as a bag of nerves throughout the day, mainly for my own amusement because I think it'll be funny.
This will probably be the best you see me.
But but also is to give people potential budding Golden Demon entrants, maybe people that are looking at giving it a go in the future, a bit of an insight, bit of background. Hopefully we'll get to chat to some other people whilst we're up there. He's got lots of fingers and lots of pies, and it's not a euphemism. And we can get some more information from those sorts of people, and they can give you hints and tips. But whilst we're here doing this intro, the last thing we'll touch on before we then drive up to Warhammer World, because we're currently sat in his hobby room, hence the lighting is disgusting. Hints and tips for planning your entrance. You've just given us the story. Yeah. Would you say that's key to your entry, is being invested in some sort of background to it? Yeah,
it certainly helps. You over the years sort of speak to judges and get feedback from them and stuff, and they want interesting things to look at.
Yeah.
They do this for their day job. You've got people who are Citadel miniatures designers, heavy metal painters, people like that who look at this stuff day in, day out, and it's nice for them to see something different.
Yeah.
You know, it's just it's 5 Marines on a base. So okay, well, you know, okay, it's 5 Marines all from different chapters, but they've all got something that sort of ties them in. So you know, they've all got the because I use the heads from the Devastator, so they've all got like that bionic stuff. All got Stalker bolters with silencers on, all that sort of thing. So you know, although you're doing something different, you know, you're keeping it.
Yeah, there's kind of a theme there still.
Yeah, and the most important thing is just to make sure it stays sort of IP compliant. Because obviously it's Games Workshop's competition. You know, I've seen stuff turn up to Golden Demon that looks fantastic. You know, it's amazing. It's so well done, technically brilliant, but it doesn't represent anything that comes from Games Workshop. You know, there was some Gretchen at Warhammer Fest, the last one, that were done up as the Avengers or some comic book characters. There was like,
I mean, that's cool.
That was they were brilliantly done. They were really, really good. There was like a Batman, a Spider-Man. There was all these different Gretchen, and they were brilliantly well painted. I was like, they're amazing, but they ain't going to get anywhere because they don't represent Games Workshop's IP. You know, so that's something you've got to be mindful of. And then just, you know, with your entries, it's just, you know, making sure that literally everything is painted well. Every single part of the miniature is painted well.
That seems like a daft comment.
Yeah, but it's true, because people think, well, I won't bother with the back of this cloak because you won't see it. They will see it because they'll be looking for it.
Yeah.
Bear in mind, these are the people that design the things. So they'll be like, right, I know where all the nooks and crannies are because I made it.
See, this is how I paint. I paint it. If you can't see it, don't paint it.
There you go. But normally, if I'm painting gaming stuff, that'd be alright. You know, it'd be fine.
Yeah.
But, you know, for this sort of thing, you know, once you get through the first cut, it becomes who's got the most mistakes.
Oh, really?
Who's the best? Because they're all technically going to be great paint jobs. You know, sort of Golden Demon finalist level. Once you get there, you know, it's anyone's guess as to who's going to win.
Yeah.
So you know, it comes down to who's got the sort of, you know, the least mistakes, most IP compliant, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it becomes a lot more sort of not just about the paint job. Once you get to that sort of stage, but.
I think something you've told me in the past as well, which is quite interesting, and it probably is quite frightening for some people, is if you're not sure where you sit at level-wise, enter.
Yeah.
Because you'll get feedback.
So yeah. I mean, I was lucky. The first year I entered was 2011. I've been back in the hobby for 2 years, and I came over with 2 trophies. It blew my mind. First, I was like, what?
All right.
What the hell's going on? And but I think that set me up badly. Because then I sort of, in my head, I thought, oh yeah, quality, yeah.
This is
easy. It
easy.
was a lot better than I was. I look back at the stuff I won with in 2011, it's horrendous, it's awful. And I sort of look back and think, how the hell did I win with those? And then I had 5 long, barren years of winning nothing, even though my painting had sort of, you know, increased hugely.
But it's not just what you do, is it? It's what everyone else around you's doing at the same time.
Yeah, this is the thing, you know, you could have the best entry you've ever made, you know. I think, you know, like my Auric, the Slayer Sword one, you know, it all depends on who's going to turn up on the day. You know, because we had a running joke with some of my painter mates, you know, you'd sort of turn up and there'd be Angelo DiCello, he was like my nemesis for a while. He's won horrendous amounts of Golden Demons, he's a fantastically talented bloke. He comes over every year from Italy, and I'll be watching him, I'll be stood there staring at him. Yeah, right, he's here, okay, good. Okay, brilliant. What category is he entering? He'd be staring, going, he's got a jewel. And
that's what I've done.
Like, right, that's one of the trophy spots gone. So yeah, it all depends who turns up on the day. And the thing is, with these mini demons, people sort of say, you know, it doesn't attract such a big crowd and whatever. But the thing is, the quality is still exceptional.
Yeah.
You know, you won't have the vast amount of entries that you would at, say, Warhammer Fest for the classic Golden Demon. But the quality is still.
I mean, to be honest, it probably keeps a lot more people interested.
Yeah,
because there's a big wide spread of people, because there's different categories, different times of the year. We will try. I will try throughout today of getting some images of some of the stuff that he's painted, and even some of the stuff the other guys have painted. Because, quite frankly, some of the stuff sat in these cabinets is exceptional, whether he admits it or not. I've shown them on some previous videos. I just like excuses to show them again. Before we now pack up and head off to Warhammer World and do more filming there, and hopefully this mic picks up us over there and not the whole crowd of people that's going to be there. There's one quote, I think, or kind of quote that I've had from you in the past that sticks with me quite often, considering the level you're at. And the level that some other people, so the levels other people are at, and you've helped Sean come along. We'll speak to Sean later, and you've had your own mentor in the past, etc. Martin says something that quite frankly is, for people of this level, is quite unbelievable. He says there is always someone out there better than you.
Yeah, always.
Always someone out there better than you.
50,
so if you're going to go out there to be the best, dare I say it, give up, because there will always be someone better. And as long as you treat that person the right way and you learn from them, and you glean from them, then maybe in the future you can get up to their level or higher, and then again there'll be someone better than you.
Yeah, it's easy to sort of turn around and say, oh, you know, like if you always get it, you know, you get the lad who's the best painter at the hobby shop, you know, he's the best man, everyone goes to him and everyone's like that, and then someone else will come along and they'll be like, oh, he's better than me. And it depends on how you react to that.
Yeah, you can either go into your shell and go, I'm not doing this anymore, or you can go, how does he do that?
Yeah,
let's find out.
You know, and as long as you're humble enough to turn around and say, well, actually, yeah, you know, teach me. You know?
Yeah.
And to be honest, you know, don't just discount people that aren't better than you. You know, you can get a lot of stuff. Duncan's Warhammer TV stuff.
I live by that stuff.
Yeah, learn loads off that.
So I mean, I thought I was a semi-decent painter until I started spending time with these guys, and I've even sat here for an hour and a half with you with a lesson on how to do a certain technique. So, you know, always be prepared to learn new stuff. Yeah. What we're going to do now is we're going to end this little video here, this little intro. We're going to pack up, we're going to drive up to Warhammer World, and we'll have little clips throughout the day of chatting to him and watching him start sweating, and he's got his dry mouth, and then, hopefully watch him go and pick some sort of trophy up. Hopefully.
Fingers crossed. And Sean.
And
Mark.
Obviously Sean,
and
but
Matt,
I don't care that much about Sean because he didn't bother his ass to get her in the first place.
Quite. So
right.
He's dead to us now.
We'll see you in the next bit. Right, okay, we've left Martin's. We're now here at Warhammer World, and finally Sean decided to get his ass out of bed and come and join us.
Hi.
So he's here now. Martin and Sean have both stuck their entries in. Martin already talked us through his entry.
Yeah.
You've stuck 3 entries in.
I stuck 3 in. First one was singles, so I've done Cypher on top of a wastage pipe, one of the hero bases.
Literally one of my most favourite models.
That you've tried to buy off me.
Yeah, a few times.
Yeah, the second one was a squad, a converted Darkwing Knights to Paladins, along with Boulders in the middle, as sort of like a figurehead to sort of bring the piece together.
Yeah, looks cool.
And then finally is the Redemptor Dreadnought, the diorama one. It's surrounded by Poxwalkers, finding its way out of a mucky swamp.
We'll get some images of his Redemptor because, quite frankly, it's wonderful, and he's being really modest about it. It's a really cool looking model, and someone's come and tell us off already. Even down here, out of the way in the corner.
No.
On these premises.
Right, okay, no worries. Cheers, dude. Right, so we just got told off and kicked out of Warhammer World because apparently even when you're tucked in the corner with the fire exit signs, you're not allowed to film.
No, definitely.
It must be Sean's good looks that dragged him over. Anyway, his Redemptor Dreadnought looks really cool. It's an amazing looking entry. It's on his Instagram page as well, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Waters Workshop on Instagram.
We'll link it below along with Martin's page, like we said before. So go on over and check it out. Anyway, you've stuck the 3 entries in.
Yes.
How are you feeling when you stuck them in?
A bit like a cat on a hot tin roof, hopping around. There is no way of playing it cool. You say you come up, you put your best foot forward and hope that they like it, and it's a thumbs up from the judges.
It is interesting watching these 2 people who are normally quite cool, calm and collected suddenly fall to pieces. We're about to chat to Martin, who's a mess at the moment, because one of the heavy metal painters
he's off in the toilets vomiting.
Yeah, one of the heavy metal painters has just wound him up. So
yeah, basically.
Yeah, I think he's in fetal position in the corner of the building somewhere. Anyway, we'll chat to him in a minute. I think we've already seen your Redemptor green dotted.
Yes, green dotted and.
For those of you who don't know, you turn up, you fill in a piece of paper, you enter your model into a category, it goes into a cabinet, it has a little ticket with it, it gets photographed, and if it gets green dotted, that means it's through to finalist, which gives you a finalist pin. So you've already got a finalist pin today?
Yes, fingers crossed. I've got 1 out of the 3. The other 2, singles category is always the hardest one. A lot of people spend a lot of time on the mini, the single figures. So a lot of entries in there and some high quality stuff.
Oh, some really good stuff.
And the squad entry this year, as I always say, Martin paints as good as anybody, if not better than some of the heavy metal team. And his head will swell up for that, even though he's inside crying. And he's in the squad category as well. That's not got through. So the dioramas / open category.
That's for you. That's what you're aiming for. And to be honest, me and Martin have chatted about it already. I know you'll be really modest. Looks like a strong entry, so we'll see.
Thank you. I'll wait till.
Yeah.
I'll wait to see. There are some of the good ones in there, though.
Anyway, we'll chat back. We'll check back with Sean later. We'll have some images of his stuff, hopefully. And if I don't get them today, I'm sure he'll send me a load through later on, so we can put these up and people can see them. And if you consider that his single and his squad didn't get through, and look at how good they look, you'll realise how good the quality here is today. We'll now chat to Martin, I think. Right, so we've got Martin back. Now, Martin only put the single entry in, as we've already chatted about, which is your squad.
All eggs in one basket.
How did you feel when you stuck it in?
Poor.
Why? I don't.
Because squad category, by the looks of it, I mean, to be honest, the way it's been set up is horrendous. So you've got a million people trying to look at 5 cabinets tucked away in the corner of the gaming hall at Warhammer World, which doesn't really work.
No.
Logistically. It was last year and previous events. It's been over in the Moot, which is like the HQ.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know why they haven't spread it out, to be honest.
Yeah,
there's loads of room in there, and yet we can't film in there.
Yeah, well, no. It's all tucked away. So yeah, it's a bit difficult to see. But you know, from the 10-foot away gaze that I've managed to gain, it's looking like stiff competition in the squad category. Very. So yeah.
Now, to be fair, it's hard to get close and see at the moment, but like Sean, I think you're being a bit modest. I think the stuff looks really good. I don't think it left the tray before it got given a green sticker.
No, it didn't.
So there's a little bit of a video of him doing it. You hand your model in, you fill in your paperwork, it goes on a tray, goes in a cabinet, the judges look at it, they give it the green sticker. It didn't even make it to the cabinet, and to be fair, Sean's Dreadnought didn't even make it to the cabinet, and it got a green sticker. So the pair of them stood there going, oh, I'm not sure it's very good, didn't even make it in the cabinet, stickered straight away.
It's always the way, the painter's paradox, you sit there in self-doubt. Everyone knows,
yeah.
Everyone is entered, you sit there and just flapping about everyone else's stuff a bit better than yours, and all those people are saying the same thing about you.
I'm sure they are, yeah.
You know, it's one of those, and you never know what the judges are going to like.
Luckily, one of the heavy metal painters stuck his oar in, didn't he, and made you feel really confident.
Peterson, good bloke that he is. Cheers, Martin. Yeah, he questioned my concept and didn't quite understand. I thought all Death Watch wore black armour. It's like, oh god, no, maybe this is just too niche that I've done. But hopefully they'll get it. There's enough sort of aspirant words on everything.
Yeah, I mean, there's a big label that tells them what it's about.
Yeah, so hopefully it'll be all right. But to be honest, at the minute, I think Sean's probably in a better shout than I am at the minute currently, because his categories is looking a bit better than mine at the minute.
Yeah, see, one thing I've learned already from coming to my first ever Golden Demon Open Day is everybody thinks that everybody else is better than them, which is quite interesting. And it wasn't. You were kind of holding it together until he chucked that little comment in about your. And then that was it. Then.
Yeah, I'm not as bad as I have been. If you speak to anyone that came to the Horus Heresy weekender, I was a mess because I didn't think they'd green stickered my Custody squad that went on to win silver, and I was chatting to Rich Gray, absolutely a flapping mess, because I thought that I'd not even made the finals with it, and they were all just laughing their heads off, thinking it was hilarious. You know, him, Will Hollis, Rob McLeod, they're all thinking it's
I think it's funny, but then I've not entered.
I was close to a coronary at one point. I was like, what the hell is going on? Why haven't I had this sticker? But
anyway, we'll get some more images of the stuff that's on show today, hopefully, unless we get told off again.
Through the crowds.
Yeah, and then we'll check back a little bit later on. I don't know what the next process is. Do you find anything out before we find the results out, or?
Essentially, what happens is the judges will take all the finalists away, stick them under a 1,000,000-watt daylight bulb, examine them with magnifying glasses, and then they'll pick the top 3. Normally, what happens then is they'll put the top 3 on the top shelf.
And you don't know whose is whose.
You don't know where's.
Is there a window between that and when you find out who's placed?
Yeah.
Right. Maybe we'll chat then.
Yeah.
To see if either of you are top 3.
Yeah.
And then we'll come down and have a little chat and how you're feeling about the other 2 you're up against.
Yeah.
And then we'll come back there, and then we're coming a little bit away from now this morning where we were giving you tips as to what to do if you enter, and we're now just following the wreck that is these 2.
It's getting worse.
Yeah, it's good.
It's like a junkie withdrawing.
I'm enjoying it. I'm probably going to go buy you both a drink now just to calm you down a bit.
Need one.
Yeah.
A strong one.
So we'll check back when the top 3s are announced, hopefully. We'll probably have to come outside again because we were banned from inside. I think they're worried that we're too famous.
If I get disqualified for making a YouTube video on
the
channel, I'll be happy.
All right. I mean, it doesn't affect my channel, so I don't mind. And then once we've got the final result, we'll come out here again, and he'll either be weeping, and it'll be me stood here on my own, or he'll be celebrating,
smashing all the cars up in the car park.
Or we'll be carrying Sean on our shoulders. One of the 3. Anyway, we'll see in a bit. So as we mentioned, they've picked the top 3s for all but the single miniature category. We know Sean's didn't go through to finalists for that, so we haven't hung around for that. That does mean, however, that the 2 that have gone through to finalists, so Sean's, was it open category or whatever they call it? Or
open, unbound.
Unbound, yeah, and Waller's squad have been selected for top 3.
Yes. However,
go on.
Mine didn't get the top shelf.
Now, we've had a close-up now. Maybe I'm wrong, I'm not experienced at this, but I'm quite surprised.
No, as I was explaining, my miniature, not so miniature, Redemptor's Dreadnought, is a scenic thing, so it's painted and it's you know, it's setting a scene. The ones that have gone through are pieces of art. So you've got lots of freehand on a Night Lord. I think you've seen
that Night Lord
well.
is to be fair,
fantastic.
I wouldn't be surprised if that one won.
Yeah,
because that's gorgeous.
and the Space Wolf, although it's on a 50mm square base, it just looks tremendous. The armour and everything, it just looks like porcelain and stuff to me.
Yeah, see, and I wonder if that one and the other scenic one we've got, I wonder if, because I'm not a painter at the moment, probably ever, I wonder if I'm looking at it going, that's not that great, but...
Well, yeah, it looks great at 5 feet away behind a glass cabinet with lights on it. I'm sure when it was on the judges' table,
Yeah,
you know, under
the
police helicopter light that they have on there. Just
So Martin wasn't joking. They literally have it like next to their eyeball in front of their face, checking it out and how good it is.
I had a sneaky peek round the corner, and they actually had 3 daylight lamps in a row.
Yeah,
and every model went under it. So
unfortunately, Sean didn't get top 3, but he's got a finalist pin, and I'd be blown away with that. So I'm sure you can't. You know, how long have you been doing this now? A year, 2 years?
I think Martin. I felt sorry for Martin about 2 years ago when he said, "Do you want to come up to Warhammer World?" So joined him on a day out, and since then I think it was 2015. So yeah, been doing it 2 years, and to go from what I'd describe my miniatures looking like I've left them too close to a fire, to winning finalist pins, I have to admit it. The big guy, Martin, the advice he gives, second to none. And people pay hundreds of pounds to go and listen to advice like that.
People do pay lots of money to listen to advice like that, or they just become a patron, because he's just begged me to come in the patrons group. So now he's in there giving people hints and tips because he loves the attention.
Yeah,
mostly because he doesn't get it at home. He said,
on the Police National computer he does have markers for "Ooh, look me." So
unfortunately Sean didn't get through, but he did get a finalist pin. And to be fair, there was some very stiff competition. The standard's quite high today, but Martin says the standard's high every single time.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, we'll talk to him now. Right, so Sean didn't get through.
No.
You became an absolute mess.
I always do. I told you, every time. And it was even worse this year because literally the judges are ferrying entries through the throngs of people
to put them back in the cabinet, yeah.
So there I was, after having queued for half an hour to look at the miniatures. They take all the squads out, so I didn't get to look at any of the competition. And I'm just stood there while they judged it behind the cabinets.
Not knowing what you're up against.
Yeah, exactly. So it was absolutely horrendous. So yeah, my blood pressure took a bit of a turn.
I thought you'd need the kiss of life at some point.
Close.
Yeah.
Very close.
I was ready. But...
Any excuse. Any excuse to get your lips on.
But yeah, you looked like you were really struggling for a minute.
Yeah, it was horrendous. It was awful. But yeah, it's really good in the end. There was mine, another Deathwatch kill team, actual proper Deathwatch kill team, not an aspirant one.
Yeah, I mean their armour's painted black like proper Deathwatch.
Proper Death, yeah. Yeah. I'm forgiven for that.
No, I don't think you will.
And then there is Rich Gray's Death Guard Terminators, which are absolutely stunning again. So chuffed, because there were some very, very good entries in that category by some very talented people. So there's going to be a lot of people that missed out.
So if you haven't picked up by what he just said, there's 2 other entries he's given you. That's because the third one on that shelf is in fact his.
Yay! Happy days.
Which means a trophy of some sort, I assume.
Of some sort, yeah. We don't know which. Basically, what they do when they've judged them, they'll put the top 3 on the top shelf. They won't sort of have any gold, silver, bronze, or anything like that. So it's all a mystery. No one knows who's won what. I would probably suggest that looking at the other 2 that I'm bronze, which I'm still over the moon with, absolutely enthralled by. So.
Even now, you're still going, yeah, mine's the worst of the 3.
Mate, you look at the others, and you know who they're done by, and you know the standard that they produce, and it's just, And to be honest, I would happily take bronze. If somebody said to me this morning, Martin, you'll take a bronze, I'd have snapped their arm off. So we'll see. You never know. I thought my Gordrak was going to get a bronze, and he got a Slayer sword. So
just drop that one in there.
Yeah,
Why not?
Exactly. That's it. It's always the way.
And to be fair, it's been quite inspiring today already. It's quite a nice atmosphere. Everyone's really quite friendly.
Yeah.
Everyone's catching up with each other, talking about their projects, talking about their hobbies, showing each other their projects, and there's nothing but compliments. It's a real nice place to be, actually.
Yeah, it's the painter, especially the UK painting scene, is really positive, really encouraging.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to help each other out, and and just sort of progress the UK painting scene. Although we're all directly competing against each other.
Yeah.
It's all really good natured. It's all good stuff. Obviously, Mark's won something in the duel for his Grot tank. So that's really good. I've been watching him do that for ages.
He's literally your Obi-Wan, you say, don't you?
He is
what you
my
call
Obi-Wan.
him.
Yeah, he's my mentor. I sort of sound stuff off him. He's been doing this for a long, long time. Decades. So what he doesn't know about this competition isn't really worth knowing.
No.
So we bounce stuff off each other.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it's so he's a really good bloke, really good, and glad to see he's on the top shelf.
It's been nice, the atmosphere, and it's not just UK painters either. There's people from all over the world here today, and there's an exhibition section with all the design studio people and all the White Dwarf people and Forge World people, and you got to play with a life-size bolt gun, which makes you happy.
Life-size bolt gun. You need to email Forge World and tell them that you want a life-size bolt. Apparently they're not going to sell it unless people demand it.
250 sales they need to make at about £500 each.
Yeah, I'll buy it. I'll buy it.
Yeah. So what we're going to do now is we'll go back inside. We will wait, I assume, until they judge the top 3, and I guess they then announce them. That's the first time you know.
Yeah. When they announce it all, when the little awards ceremony happens, that'll be the first time that we know who's bronze, silver, gold.
But even at this stage, if you're thinking about coming down here and putting an entry in one day, just do it. Stick it in, see what happens. And even if you don't make top shelf, there's enough people here that will talk to you about your entry that you'll no doubt come away with some hints and tips as to what to do better next time if it's something you're thinking about doing.
And not just the judges either, just other painters. We'll happily chat to people about painting.
And to be honest, I'm thinking about giving it a go, and I paint like a brush is in my mouth, so why not? Anyway, we'll go and see where he comes, and then we'll come back and chat again, I suppose. Cool. Right, we're here for the final section. I'll apologise for 2 things. Firstly, the light, because we're in Martin's hobby dungeon again.
Yeah.
And it's got dark outside because we've just driven all the way back from Warhammer World. And secondly, you may hear his children scream. He's just locked them in a room and left them whilst we shoot this bit, because priorities. So you may or may not see behind us, over our shoulder, Martin's achievement for today. Yeah, so after flapping and panicking and worrying and threatening to be sick and all the shimphing that was going on all day, he finally walked away with a bronze in the squad category, which, to be fair, considering the competition, was actually pretty good.
Yeah, definitely. I was extremely nervous. It didn't help by the fact that I couldn't actually see any of the competition, but so I think to walk away from a bronze, definitely. Happy with that.
We would have had Sean here again as well, but he drove home in a strop because he didn't get top 3.
Bitter.
Poor
bitter
bloke.
Man.
Yeah. So he left just before. I think it was before they even announced the third, seconds, and first. Yeah. I think he had to go and change his sanitary towel or something.
Exactly. He's going to go and beat his child at home.
Yeah. So he left, unfortunately. So we don't get to chat to Sean about his disappointment, but you can probably tell from the fact that he's not here that he was quite disappointed. I think you've had messages recently to that same effect anyway.
He's hating life.
But we did see all the awards given out for all the categories. To be fair, most of them you could probably say, yep, fair enough, can't argue with those decisions. Incredible talent on display today. Really, really incredible. And I honestly thought that going and seeing that level and that standard of painting would put people off. Honestly, I thought you go there and see what people are doing and go, I can't ever do that.
Yeah.
But I'm actually sat here thinking, I'd quite like to get involved and give that a go.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's horribly addictive. You end up sort of, getting involved once, and that's it. You just sort of can't help but keep going back again and again.
Yeah.
And putting yourself through it. I don't know why I keep putting myself through it.
Yeah, before Martin got his bronze, I'm just going to give it a rest for a while. I'm not going to bother. I'm not going to bother.
Tiring.
By the time he got his bronze and sat in Bugman's, I might paint up the apothecary. And actually, I've got an idea for this as well. Oh, Jesus Christ, that took like 2 hours.
Yeah, not even that.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know, glutton for punishment.
Yeah, so it was good. It was an interesting day. If you're thinking about Golden Demon in the future, get on down and go to one of the open days. The tickets were like £12 or something, £12.50, and that gives you your access to the exhibition, which is normally about £7 anyway. So you're paying about £5 for the day. All the developers were there, White Dwarf people, Forge World people, etc. All there to chat to. The Warhammer community team were there, Warhammer TV were there. It was a really good day, and actually you said that you weren't that impressed with it today, and I still thought it was a really good day. So
yeah, I mean, in comparison to a lot of things, I mean, I'm sure it will all come out in the wash, and no doubt it'll be all over social media. But yeah, the way it was organised, and speaking to members of the design studio, they were quite, annoyed with how it was set up and stuff. And essentially, for those who have been to Golden Demon before, will be aware that the judges stand behind the cameras, behind the cabinets, and just sort of play stuff in and out. Whereas this time, the setup was that they had to have access from the front. So what you ended up having was the queue of people looking at the miniatures coming from one way, and then the judges trying to do judging and bring entries back coming the other way, and just sort of meeting in the middle. And there are a couple of moments where, you know, you've got people carrying trays full of Golden Demon entries, trying to manoeuvre their way through crowds of people.
There's some hairy moments with some big, expensive models.
You know, and then, you know, so it wasn't ideal, the setup, but I think they know that anyway. From chatting to a few of them, but you know, it is what it is. Unfortunately, but obviously, it doesn't take away, you know, from the sort of the skill that was on show, because there were some stunning entries.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think just sort of setup wise, they're a bit struggling today.
Yeah. So the idea of this video really is to give people a bit of a background insight as to what goes on. To tell people how it works, etc., to give you a kind of an idea as the process that you follow in the day, and maybe get people interested. I'm certainly interested. There was 5 or 6 categories you could enter today. There was a staff one, there was a child's one or a children one. Those we won't worry about.
Bloods.
Yeah, young bloods. Yeah. Otherwise, we've got single miniature, large vehicle, squad, and then there was the
Dual and Unbound.
Dual and Unbound. That's the ones, yeah.
Yeah.
And again, across all of them, pretty much there was quite a high standard. It was really quite interesting.
Yeah, I mean, with the mini demons, you know, you hear people saying all the time, "Oh, you know, there's not as many entries and all that sort of stuff." Yeah, that's right. There isn't as many entries, because you sort of look back, you know, sort of five years or whatever, and you'd have hundreds and hundreds, thousands of entries, but a lot of them were just, you know, just chucked in because you know, you'd get into the arena half hour early for games day, so people would just chuck.
Right.
Yeah, people would just chuck any old tat in instead of getting at 9:30 instead of 10. So essentially, what these have done is cut that out, so you're no longer getting, you know, tons and tons of, you know. I wanted to sound up my own arse too much, you know, tons of dross that people have just chucked in.
You can say that now he's got a trophy. You're allowed to say that now.
You know, people have got, you know, some, you know, model from their gaming army that, you know, they've just sort of picked up and said, "Oh yeah, it's a Golden Demon entry." Chucked it in just so they didn't get in half hour early to the Forge World queues or whatever. But I think these mini demons have sort of cut that out. So although the number of entries is lower, they're the standards are still impeccably high.
Yeah, the standards are really high. I sort of wondered it, because there was a few more of them now, mini demons as you call them. I sort of wondered if that may take away from, because ultimately you're going to end up with more people with trophies.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem that way. There was people at Golden Demon today that have won more Golden Demons than I am years old, and they're still just as nervous, sat there waiting to find out whether they've got top 3, whether they've become gold, silver or bronze. Absolute perfectionists everywhere. I mean, the guy today won single category. David Soper also won the Slayer Sword again. I think he could start his own inner circle now, can't he?
More swords than Tower of London. I think
yeah. So, and that was, and the thing that I really liked about his entry specifically, and actually yours isn't far off the same. In fact, probably all the squads, was that they were just standard models. Sounds like an awful thing to say. David's entry was a push fit Death Guard Marine from the Dark Imperium starter set. That was his entry. To be able to go to Golden Demon and not only win the singles category, which is probably, after being there today, probably the highest competitive category. There's just more models in that category than anything else.
Yeah.
And then to come away with not only a win but the Slayer Sword with a starter set miniature is quite inspiring, really.
Well, yeah, this is. I mean, we spoke about it on the journey home. You know, people are sort of, there's all these myths about Golden Demon, and you know how you've got to have some scratch built, converted, one of a kind thing to win anything, and you know it's just not true. At the end of the day, it's a painting competition.
Yeah.
And you know, if you turn up, as was proved today, with a stock miniature from a starter set, if that's the best painted miniature there, then that will win.
Yeah.
So you know, there's a lot of.
I was really chuffed I saw that, because he had done his base, because you do your bases, of course, and it wasn't converted.
Even his base was like
basic, dare I say it? Yeah.
It had some bubbling water in it. And
it wasn't. I wouldn't call it overly complex. It wasn't some massive diorama type base. It was just a base. The model hadn't really been tampered with. There was no conversion. It was just a Death Guard model. I say just a Death Guard model.
Impeccably well done.
Yeah, it was a Death Guard model that David had painted to an incredible standard. What I'm saying is, for me, I don't convert very well to start with.
No,
I'm just not great at converting. I'm terrible at green stuff as well. And I've seen some people do some epic stuff, and I've seen some golden. One of David Soper's last entries, which was a seer that he converted, that was heavily converted. That would put you off almost, because it was so good.
Yeah.
What I thought it was. I know
it's floating above the ground with sort of little.
But this one, to then see the same standard of painting near enough, if not the same, but on just a standard starter set, push fit marine, that almost made the day for me, because it means anyone can pick up a model, paint it, enter it, and do okay.
Yeah.
So really chuffed.
Yeah, definitely. It's I think it goes to prove a point. I mean, like I said, there's lots of talk about to win Golden Demon you need to do this, you need to do that, and a lot of it's just complete nonsense, really.
Yeah.
It's all just myths and bitter people and all the rest of it. But essentially, if
bitter people like Sean.
Potentially, Sean.
We can say that because he's not here to argue.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't think he'll get this far into the videos.
No.
You're right.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you turn up with a solid Games Workshop IP compliant miniature, and if you're not converting it, if it's just stock, you can't get much more IP compliant than that.
Yeah.
So.
That was interesting. I didn't know that myself. We were driving up there this morning, and Martin was saying that actually you have to be IP compliant. For those that don't know what IP means, intellectual property essentially. So basically you have to tick the boxes that it's GW miniature, GW standard, and you can't start dropping in other brands and stuff to your miniature. That sounds stupid. Or put it in sort of a position or a diagram. What's the word I'm looking for? It's like a model of stuff. Diorama, there we go.
Diorama, a model of stuff.
Yeah, a model of stuff.
It's the new model
or
of
a
stuff
diorama that puts it in a situation that would suggest other intellectual property from other companies, films, etc.
Yeah.
You can play with fire, and you've said that actually quite often they'll go, we just can't associate that.
Yeah, because essentially, these models will go on to appear in White Dwarf and on the website and all the rest of it. You've got to think, sensibly. As a big multinational company, they can't be putting other brands or logos and stuff into their magazines.
Yeah.
Because they'll just end up getting sued or whatever. So yeah, I mean stuff like we spoke about on the way down. There was a Blood Bowl team from Warhammer Fest just gone. Because I entered the Blood Bowl category, and I was looking at this team. It's impeccably well painted, really, really, really nice, and I was proper sweating over it. I was like, oh, that's not good. But it had a Manchester United style badge on the wall. It was like graffitied onto the wall. Whereas obviously the words Manchester United were taken out, and it was like Ratskins United or whatever. But it was very clearly still a Manchester United club badge.
Yeah.
So I was like, you might struggle with there, and then funnily enough, as soon as it went through to judging, cut straight away.
So that surprises me, but doesn't surprise. It sounds like a really stupid thing to say, but because it's so clever and well done, technically well done, I thought, that'd be fine. But because it's just like a badge that we've seen from another club, they cut it straight away. I was like, really?
Yeah, it's difficult. It's something you need to bear in mind, because obviously if you're spending hours and hours and hours, and then you're sticking something silly on it like a can of Coke, that is very obviously a can of Coke. We spoke to Mark earlier about it, and how in the old days you could probably get away with it. I think he called his Orca-Cola.
Orca-Cola, yeah, he told it said today.
But it's a very obviously a Coca-Cola can. You're gonna struggle just from a business standpoint, because they don't want to lose money and the days of litigation and all the rest of it. So I think they'd much rather just say, no, gone. It doesn't fit our IP. When have you ever seen something come out of the design studio with someone drinking a can of Coke? Yeah. Or watching Man United football? It just never happens.
So Mark, as we mentioned previously, it was Martin's Obi-Wan, your mentor, your hero. He entered today the dual category, and surprise, surprise, walked away with gold. I'm sure you'll see it in White Dwarf soon, so look out for that, because that was actually we saw that up close at the end of the day in Bugman's, and that was a really cool entry. So
it was good.
Look out for that one. It was a grot tank shooting a Gene Stealer something or other.
A little grot bailing out of a grot tank, shooting a Gene Stealer hybrid in the face.
Yeah, that was really cool. So look out for that in White Dwarf. Will we see yours as a bronze in White Dwarf?
Yeah, potentially. There's all sorts of going on there.
Yeah.
My Blood Bowl team's going to be in there next month, I think.
Yeah, so look out for that.
So yeah, there's plenty going on.
Head on over to Martin's Instagram page. Follow him on at Martin Waller Figure Painter, I think it is. I'll link it below anyway, and I'll link Sean's in still, just because people can make him feel better about himself. So if we had one tip for a budding Golden Demon entrant, someone who hadn't been before, is looking at sticking his first model in, what would it be? One tip.
Just do it. That's probably the best one. Just enter. Because there's so many people who say, I'd love to do this, I'd love to. Just enter. Just stick it in. Even if you have no idea or no hope of winning anything, or even progressing through the first round, just enter, because you'll only ever get better from being around those people.
Yeah.
And, sort of, chatting to the judges, getting feedback. Because, who else better to get feedback from than the people who are judging it?
I've also learned today with this competition. I want to call it a competition because it is a competition, but it's so friendly and well spirited. It's quite hard to call it competition. One thing I have learned today from this competition is you can take your model out of its box or out of its carry case or whatever you've decided to take it there, and you can basically thrust it in front of anybody's face. Judge, other fellow painters, previous Golden Demon winners, Slayers, or anybody's face, and they will look over it and they will give you time and they'll talk to you about your model. And especially if it's post tournament as well, so you've already been told perhaps you're not progressing to the final or you've not got in the top 3, and they won't rip you apart. No. But they will tell you, well, you could have done that, and you could have, and it's really quite nice because these guys are all prepared. These guys are all really prepared to help everybody else out.
Yeah, that's the thing, is it's constructive feedback. It's not just sitting there slagging it off, going, "Oh, you should have done this, should have done that." It's easy to sit there as the Monday morning quarterback and say, "Oh, sorry, should have done this." But if you're constructive around it, like I say, you're always learning. And sort of surround yourself by those sort of people. You're always going to learn from them, even if it's just something that they sort of say off the cuff. Actually, now you say that 2 + 2, actually, that makes sense now. So everyone's happy to help out. We were talking sort of, the difference between, gaming tournaments and how competitive people are and, all the rest of it.
Yeah.
There's a completely different atmosphere.
Definitely.
With this sort of thing. Everyone, it's pretty sort of counterintuitive, really, because, you're helping out your competition. But, I think for the benefit of, sort of that side of the hobby, and trying to push it and trying to push the UK miniature painting community forward, to compete against, your team Spain's, France, Germany's, all the rest of it. We're sort of all trying to push each other on. So that's really nice.
And ultimately, if people around you step the game up, then that just encourages you to step yours up as well.
Well, yeah, this is it. I mean, like Mark said earlier, he had a year where me and him were competing in the same category. We were competing dual. I took bronze, sneaked it. And his duel just didn't make the top 3, so obviously I took his spot. Complete gentleman about it, shook my hand, said well done, and he said, I'm going to have to step my game up, and that was that. And we went back to talking about the next year's entries and what we planned. So it's all very, very humbling, and I don't think people that get a bit too carried away with themselves and think they're a bit too think they're better than they are and all the rest of it tend not to do very well, because they'll rest on their laurels, and as soon as you start resting on your laurels, you stop progressing, and that'll be that. Everyone will overtake you.
You're the first person to say that you did it yourself.
Yeah.
First year entrant.
Yeah.
Two trophies.
Yeah.
Next 5 years, naffle.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Hanging about, crying after the competition.
Yeah. And to be fair, it does seem that those people are quite rare, which is quite nice. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed watching this and following his progress throughout the days, and Sean's brief interlude, I suppose, where he jumped in for a couple of videos when he thought he might do okay and then went home when he didn't. But to be fair to Sean, his stuff was amazing, and he's only been entering for a couple of years. And
not even that.
And to be at that standard, I mean, I've seen it up close. I'm hoping to have already shown you some photos of it on the video if he supplies me with some. To have it at that standard in less than 2 years, to be fair to the man, is really quite impressive.
I know we're sitting here taking the piss out of him a bit, but he did have to get home. We're not sort of.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah. He has also got a tiny child at home, so he hasn't stormed off.
To get to where he is in such a short space of time is really good. So if he continues progressing the way he is, then
he'll be competing with you.
Yeah, he will be.
Yeah.
Break his legs or something.
I'm sure the next time we have an event like this, another Golden Demon event that he decides to enter, he'll let me follow him around again like a lost puppy. I think it's been interesting to follow it. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed watching it. It's a little brief insight as to what happens on a Golden Demon day, a competition day. So finally, for me then, it's just to say, we did mention it earlier, there's a Patreon's WhatsApp chat. Martin's now in it.
I am.
There is a Patreon link in the description.
Crazy.
It is. They don't want to talk to you now. They don't want to talk to me anymore. Yeah. There's a link in the description below. We're up to quite a few patrons now. There's 15, 16, 17 patrons, which is amazing and more than I ever expected. If people want to be involved, you don't have to. Of course you don't. If you want to be involved, head on over to the link, click it, become a patron. You'll get chucked in the WhatsApp group. And you can come and take part in the wonderful hobby fun we're having in that group. It is quite a busy group, but it's really nice. Also, we have Redbubble merchandise, another link below. Like I said many times before, it's just for me to wear t-shirts because it makes me feel important. But if you want to have some, actually, a few people now have bought t-shirts, mugs, all sorts of stuff. I know you want some leggings.
I'm going to get some leggings.
Yeah. Yeah, I will record you in those
Hammer
leggings.
We could do Swan Lake.
So head on over to that if you want to. And finally, if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button, because they've been rocketing up and it's amazing to watch it climb, and it just means they keep sticking stuff up for you for free.
So X Factor, innit? Like that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is that what they do?
Yeah, they're all like it.
I
Now
don't.
the numbers are going, vote for me.
I don't. We know how he spends his Saturday nights.
Sadly, yes.
Yeah, okay. Thanks very much for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next one.